Cyberpunk 2077, after the disaster, Netflix saved the game. CD Projekt RED has revealed that they are working on the next Cyberpunk game following 2020's Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 got off to a shaky start when it was first released in 2020. Now, after 2 years of patches and updates, players can finally play the game as it was meant to be played. The futuristic open-world epic creates a whole new world with a lot of opportunities for rich storytelling, so a sequel was always likely. Now, CD Projekt RED has confirmed that a new Cyberpunk game is in development. Here's everything we know about the next Cyberpunk game, codenamed Orion, and our return to the Cyberpunk 2077 universe. Storyline: Cyberpunk 2077 is a sci-fi action RPG based in a dystopian Northern California and revolves around a large city that is called Night City. The city is filled with large-scale corporations and is ruled by capitalism, with technology invading all forms of everyday life. You play as the main character, called V, who has to gain street cred, while at the same time enhancing his weapons and cybernetics to lead a revolution against the corrupt corporations. Throughout the game, V is guided by Johnny Silverhand, Keanu Reeves, the original rocker boy, who led a similar revolution in the early 21st century. You have to get from the bottom of the city and rise up to the top, influencing others to rise up. He has to go through all of the 6 districts of Night City: City Center, Watson, Westbrook, Haywood, Pacifica, and Santo Domingo, to complete missions and take control. Apart from all of this, V also has to take on gangs that fill up Night City. The end goal is to burn down Night City with Johnny. All that is keeping V alive is this chip of immortality that he steals in the beginning of the game. CD Projekt RED's long-awaited open-world role-playing game Cyberpunk 2077, set in the near-future dystopian Night City and featuring Keanu Reeves, was first announced to be in development in 2012. 8 years later, the game will finally be released. The game is based on the Cyberpunk tabletop role-playing series authored by Mike Pondsmith, who also served as a consultant on Cyberpunk 2077. It's been the object of great anticipation from fans, particularly those who loved CD Projekt RED's The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, a 2015 fantasy role-playing game that received widespread critical acclaim. But as the hype has mounted for Cyberpunk 2077, so too has skepticism and concern about the game and its development. CD Projekt RED has faced criticism for some of the marketing decisions surrounding Cyberpunk 2077, such as the usage of a hypersexualized trans model in a promotional poster. The company has also faced serious scrutiny of its work practices, particularly with regard to crunch, a common games industry practice that refers to long hours of overtime lasting weeks or months. If the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 was more than chaotic with catastrophic console versions and a good PC version but with a lot of bugs, things are changing. The future of the RPG even looks quite bright. The Netflix series, for example, is a real delight and a great critical success. Better, it gave a new breath and a new impetus to the RPG by bringing in many players. Netflix to the rescue of Cyberpunk 2077. The Cyberpunk 2077 Edgerunners series has received fairly unanimous and rave reviews, so much so that the show scores 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. On Metacritic, it is also of the same ilk, with an exceptional score of 8.9 for users. This obviously carries over to the sales of the game, especially on PC, with reviews on Steam changing course. But let's give Caesar what is Caesar's. The CD Projekt studio has also worked hard to try to reverse the trend. Thanks also to the patches, the game on the PlayStation Store exceeded a total of 20 million sales and experienced an impressive resurgence. On Steam, with 16,460 positive reviews in recent weeks, Cyberpunk 2077 was finally able to go into the blue on Steam, namely to be mostly positive. A feat that is all the greater since the RPG remained in the red for a very long time on the Valve platform. A new proof that with perseverance it is quite possible for a game to go up the slope. The first expansion of the game, which was released back in 2020, is now set to come out next year. Of course, Cyberpunk 2077 endured a rough launch, with plenty of bugs and glitches, but the game has been patched multiple times, and is continuing to be patched by CD Projekt RED. It has been reported that it could well be the only expansion we see for the sci-fi inspired hit, which has sold plenty of copies across its lifespan. Here's everything we know so far about Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty following its announcement earlier this week. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty is coming to consoles in 2023. There has been no specific release date revealed yet, but we do know that it will release next year. Consoles. The DLC is set to skip old generation consoles, meaning it is not being released on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. It will instead release on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and Stadia. The latter may be something of a surprise, but fans who only have access to PS4 and Xbox One consoles will miss out. Is Keanu Reeves back? Keanu Reeves is, indeed, back. He appears in the trailer as the voice in your player's head, Johnny Silverhand, who tells you that swearing allegiance to the new USA is a bad idea. It remains to be seen what kind of role he will be playing in the expansion, but his participation has been confirmed. That will be a major boost for fans of the iconic actor, who has appeared in films such as The Matrix, Point Break, and John Wick. Does the next Cyberpunk game have a release date? No, not yet. Projekt Orion, the Cyberpunk sequel, has only just been announced and is likely a few years away from release. Therefore, no release date has been provided yet. What platforms will the game be on? It's too early to say what platforms the next Cyberpunk game will be released on. Projekt Orion has only just been formally announced. However, if the game is to release during this current generation of consoles, we can reasonably assume the game will release on PS5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC.